Hey everyone, it's Zach with Palantir Research. New article regarding the £480 million contract for the NHS regarding their Federated Data Platform, or FDP. So we all saw that article kind of putting out that mid-October was the new announcement, which was updated from end of September. However, that date came and passed, and I've acknowledged that in my previous videos that we really don't know what's going to happen or have an exact date. Then just last week, we had the clickbait article also that the procurement was complete, but the business case is still needing to be put together or approved. Well, related to that, it sounds like this has been actually the reason why it was pushed again to mid-November. Now, this is Digital Health's news sources, so I'm not for sure how they know this, but the previous October push date was from the medical directors kind of spilling the beans, but now it sounds like the delay now is because of that scope that we've talked about. So I was kind of right about the delay actually, and it's more of how the project going forward is supposed to be clearly used, and of course having more evidence that this is the true solution. And the areas they put specifically are, first, elective recovery, so addressing that backlog of elective surgeries. And we are going to kind of see that with the travel program, but Palantir has proven that they are helping out with surgical theaters and making sure they can coordinate this. So hopefully they can keep getting more data. Then care coordination. So how are all these different health entities of different sizes interacting with each other? So it doesn't sound like they just care about one hospital working and getting better. They want to make sure they can actually work together with, say, maybe the scheduling of one and how it affects the other. And then maybe if you have to send out a surgery or maybe get imaging from another facility, how does that all work in coordination? Then vaccination and immunization. And I think this one is pretty clear how Palantir has been a major contributor here. So they want to know the path of how that's going forward though, and if it'll be the same, reduced, or increased. And what about new vaccination distribution? So there are a lot of things at play here when it comes to vaccination, because you don't know when the next pandemic's going to happen or how you're going to do the next preventative flu season, right? You want to have a platform that's able to handle all this, not just something specifically for COVID-19 that happened back in the day. Now, fourth is population health management. How will they generally meet the population's health needs? And to me, in my opinion, this seems like the most open can of worms, in my opinion, that can block this, but it's still important. But I'd say this can slow down the process just because it's so open-ended. You can pretty much argue for or against, oh, this is going to help the general population here. I think the big thing is to be able to have a vision of the population around you with your different kind of facilities there and what they can manage, and then meeting the needs of that, right? If you're in a certain socioeconomic status, there are prevalent diseases versus another area. Maybe it's due to race. So they just want to be able to manage the population. And like I said, this can be a big reason why it's open-ended. Then supply chain management. And honestly, I think this is the opposite, something they should have been doing regardless of the FDP. And this is prompted also by the pandemic and the supply shortages that we saw. So I think this is more of a clear application of the FDP because you're literally managing what is being used and the expectations of what's being needed. So if they need to accumulate more data and performance from that, that makes sense. And naturally, that's going to happen because you're managing a supply chain and that has goods running through it and your usage, of course, and then also what's being produced in order to meet the needs of your facilities. Now, the issue with this is that these are too loose of initial use cases, they're saying, and they think they need more use cases or at least stronger use cases, meaning that they need more data and more time here. Now, we're going to probably keep hearing this no matter what. Maybe there aren't enough numbers, honestly. So the story here is essentially we need to get more info to move forward. And that's very subjective, honestly. And if they will move forward with a multi-$100 million contract, when is it enough? And I'm not the one to answer that, I guess, but me personally, yeah, I'd be careful, but it's not black and white. What is enough? How much use case is enough? Because there will always be a level of uncertainty until you actually apply it. Palantir has already demonstrated, with concrete numbers and applications, and still continues to spread throughout NHS England. And I wouldn't be surprised if their hand is in the travel program recently announced too that I've covered. Just honestly another wrench, but I guess it's better than being left completely in the dark, but hopefully Palantir can pull through.